Howdy boys and girls, Big Mac is here with another 3 games to check for you this week. Our first game of the day is going to be Lost Ember, the second game will be Drug Dealer Simulator, and we finish on some serious note with Power and Revolution 2020 edition. So guys, get your popcorn, don't forget to click the like button, don't forget to comment something, and if you're here I think you're already subscribed. So let's begin. So our first game of the day is going to be Lost Ember. Lost Ember is something that fundamentally promises you of being able to jump into the one body of any creature into another, tie it into the story with a heart and surprisingly intimidating understanding of life. However, you have something truly special. Lost Ember opens to you with a spirit asking you, a wolf, of a help or something. The spirit is the soul of a member of mysterious people known as Yanra. It's soon revealed that you are not an ordinary wolf, but you are an Yarnan reincarnated. The spirit decides that you must be an Lost Ember, a member of the tribe for some reason denied to enter the City of Light after the death, and promises to help you understand why. Money Eye, which are developers of this game, has a deep love and respect for the nature, something that becomes apparent with some seconds you're taking of control. Taking my first steps as the wolf, I'm delighted by how realistic the movement is. The environment from these first moments, right up until the credits rolls, it's endlessly fascinating and you enjoy the explore. The camera's perspective when traveling across the ground has been carefully judged to emulate the view of your animal. While soaring, the air, swimming blissfully through the river is no less joyous. You'll occasionally need to take control of another animal, achieved with a simple press button. When your default form wolf is say, too big or not too big to a fish or to keep going. When you become a wombat, for example, you don't gain an ability to sing catchy British indie rock. Huh, that was a joke by the way. But you are now adorable enough to squeeze through the small gaps. You can also curl into a ball and roll around in the form, because well, there is never a time you'll have to do this. But the fact that offers you a window into the appeal of the Lost Ember. Lost Ember has no enemies, no puzzles, and very little in the way of the treat. It is possible to die by falling too far. If that happens, you will respawn within a second. The game picks you up, dusts you off, and essentially says, hey, don't worry, carry on. It's the game that loves you, and you wanna love it back. I personally avoid discussing the story, as it deserves to be experienced fresh. It's not complex, but it's strangely deep, and it's almost without exception painted with the lace's hand. It's masterfully tackled the fundamental of the truth, violence budgets violence, and the brings the blind rage can lead to a tragedy. I saw one of the major twists coming to at least an hour before it arrived, but even then it remained superbly storytelling. I came across a few technical hiccups, most memorably when my wolf got stuck into the lock after exiting wombat, but there is a sentence I don't need to be typing that week. The section near the end that requires your control of the mountain goals is also disappointing. The climbing is slightly awkward and the most traditional video play part of the experience, not to mention the fact that camera will sometimes shoot your god backwards. Even so, it doesn't drag, it's far from the bad, and you will run as the god. Not much could totally ruin that experience. So, summarizing, Lost Ember is a wonderful, unique and unforgettable experience with a love of the nature. This game truly deserves your time and you trying to play it. So big recommendation if you wanted to enjoy and rest some time after a very hard working day. Lost Ember is something for your soul, for your patience and for everything. Try this game and let's move on to the second game of the day. So we look now into our second game of the day, which is the Drug Dealer Simulator. Okay, so the Drug Dealer Simulator is another game that tries to give you the taste of a bad life. Drug Dealer Simulator doesn't have a broad scope as those AAA games that focuses on criminality. Instead, it sees the player as trying to grow the drug empire from humble beginnings. A drug runner into a desolate urban area, the player travels the graffiti-covered streets selling the wars and avoiding the attention of the police. Well, it's like real life, but not real life. Also, such a game has a plenty potential for excitement. Drug Dealer Simulator is slow to get going. The player starts off as a low pusher, selling off his 2-gram bags of weed and giving out the samples of grocer business, before rising into the larger deals as the game goes on. Unfortunately, Drug Dealer Simulator never really reaches beyond the starting point in terms of challenging the player or expanding its gameplay. As its core, Drug Dealer Simulator will be favorited to anyone who has previously played survival games like Rust, let's say, or maybe ARK, albeit in rudimentary manner. The player will need to order new supplies, feed money back into the cartel, and then cut their own drugs into order to maximize their profits. Getting more cash and rising through the levels gives the access to new drugs and crafting elements to build a drug empire. Gaining levels also gives access to Drug Dealer Simulator light RPG mechanics. Prompt delivers and grows through the gate and then allows the player to improve their skills and its running speed. Stamina, or like Hood the Police, will not finally get goods when the player is surged. As such, Drug Dealer Simulator sits in an awkward place where it never reaches the bizarre levels of GTA or maybe let's say Saints Row, but at the same time it gives a quite interesting experience of living the life of a drug dealer. Well, not very showed in a real way, let's say. Also, it's not a bad game, I would say. Overall, I would even say it's low style good game. Drug Dealer Simulator doesn't have enough variety in current state, keeps the player engaged beyond its novelty factor. It's thankfully not the worst simulator game ever, but at the same time is not the best. There is a lot to look forward and maybe some future updates will bring this game to some next level, but for right now this is just a good game that I would recommend you to try. And now let's move to our last third game of the day. So for the last bit of today's menu we have Power and Revolution 2020 edition. In this review I would not only mention the 2020 version, but overall it's going to be mostly 2020. Power and Revolution is a simulation of our current world. It's recreating its features and deeps across the number of domains: economical, political, military, social, financial, environmental, energetic, transport, and everything you can have in your life. All the countries of the world are represented with their own features. The calculation and scenario engines include more than 1,000, oh my god, can't even say this number, 100,000 data, 15,000 text, and over 10 hours of recorded dialogues. That's a lot of work, guys, there. A detailed and animated 3D world map helps to support the player with all the borders, regions, and important strategic locations of the world. The game combines management stages of economy, commerces, war games, constructions, epic zone simulation, and political influences and manipulation. The game engine, Geopolitical Simulator 4, includes over 600 data elements for each of 175 playable countries, which is really a lot. But let's get closer to the start of game. In this game you will try to basically work with your own country, which is the real one. You have different areas like budget, you have taxation, currency, economy, foreign and domestic affairs, defense, social liability. You can literally build your own country, start the Third World War, and then basically finish it in within a minute because you stand no chance. In reality, this game is really very deeply simulator, which simulates our actual world right now. So it's like a SimCity, but in current world with real people around. The best part of the Power and Revolution 2020 is that it has a simulation of COVID pandemic. Based on actual data, the pandemic is recreated and the player can follow the progress of various graphs, stats and the maps that is keep up to date directed by their health director. Numerous tools and legalization at your disposal to try and slow the spread of the virus, managing the policies of the different constructions of temporary hospitals and lockdowns and different measures to prevent this. So basically it's a very fun experience in a not very fun way, let's say. You're trying to prevent something that world being caused in 2020. Imagine any game ever to give you this. So this is why I think the Power and Revolution 2020 is one of the best games in those terms. There is not much to say about the gameplay and mechanics, as this is something that you literally need to try. My opinion was here to show you that this game exists and you actually need to try it if you like the simulations games. Guys, finishing on this note, I would like you to check if you like the video, if you already commented it, and don't forget to click that subscribe button. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.